Hello and welcome. This is me um, having an episode tonight, and I'm going to rant about myself because depressive people are very selfish. It's in my case, it may I be so humble. It's not on purpose, but it makes you selfish, or at least that what I feel it like, because when you are depressed, or at least how it is in my case, I am depressed, and everything in my mind, every minute of the day, becomes about me. It's all me, me, me. It's I am a waste of space. I am unlovable, for example. It's all me, me, and it makes you feel like you've been really selfish. Why I wanted to rant today is because I had this thought engraved in my head for the last few months, and I had to vocalize it because I felt like I was gonna forget how it felt. And today I was able to materialize that thought into a more conceivable, more understandable, if you will, because it's not very easy to make it understandable when these things swirl in your head 24/7. And I was just thinking about, why am I depressed and why am I suicidal? Well, the answer is that it's chemical, right? As it is most of the cases of depression, it's a chemical thing in the brain. And but when I was asking that question, like why am I depressed? Why am I suicidal? My answer wasn't that, although that is the answer, the correct answer. But being the selfish bastard that I am, I started answering myself, and I said, why? Well, it's because I hate humans. And I know it sounds very Redditor like, but please let me elaborate on that. First of all, I'm gonna start by adding something to that phrase. I hate all humans. I hate humanity. I hate our nature, including myself. So yeah, please don't just go thinking I'm trying to be like a samurai redditor, because I am well aware that is not the case. I'm just really trying to materialize 10 years of feeling like this. Yes, it has been that long. So I would say I hate humanity, I hate humans, I hate our nature. I hate how evil we are, how wicked we are. And I myself throw myself in the back as well. As I said earlier, I hate myself. I hate myself to the suicidal point, where ever since I was 15, 16, I've always had suicidal thoughts. Maybe not as often, not as in the way of suicide, or as in picturing myself killing myself, or so, but more the constant thought that has been in my mind daily since I was around 15 or 16, it's of me death. Not particularly committing suicide, not particularly thinking about the whole operation of me taking my own life, but just thinking of me dying, me dead, stop existing, which um, with the years, within only a few years, it stopped being a dramatic or sad thought on my behalf. I didn't feel sad about it. I felt relief on the idea. It felt appealing. It feels appealing. It feels really appealing. And yeah, it's weird because it's like It's like the only thing that makes me feel somewhat happy, because nothing makes me feel happy. I am someone that does a lot of things, does a lot of activities, partakes in a lot of hobbies, do different sports. I always been like that, trying to keep myself busy. That's one of the advices a lot of people give you, even psychologists. Truth is, I don't know if anybody like me has said this. None of that works. Like, in the moment the bell rings and I'm out of the ring, like I'm back to being whatever I am. So let's divert back to the initial question when I said why, and yeah, my answer was because I hate everything, including myself. I would first like to elaborate on the word hate, because I always feel like I'm using it wrong. Hate evocates like anger, or it's only a genuine feeling of not wanting none of this be to be around me, to me being around people. It's I would say it's contraproducing, if that word even exists in the English language. But what I try to get with this is that whenever I see people, having lived all that I've lived, because believe it or not, even though I look like a nerd who posts sad things on Reddit, truth is I have lived a lot. I had to mature really early. I had to work from young age, and I have lived the life, and I have met an insane amount of people, and a lot of them deeply. And the more I get to know people, the more things that would appear that are normal begin to sicken me, and makes me en- enclosed the human race as this evil thing, even though maybe you wouldn't say it's evil, because I don't think anybody else, or at least that's how maybe depression makes me think about it. But I don't think anybody else cares about these things. I'm talking about minor things, minute things. That would be just like people making mistakes and stuff like that. Maybe stupid mistakes, let's say, because a mistake, anybody can make a mistake. I've done a lot of them. Part of that is what makes me hate myself as well. Um, I would say the difference is I didn't know. I would say that's the difference. It feels like people know what they're doing, and I I'm trying to materialize this thought the best I can. I had it just a moment, couple seconds before starting this video. That's why, and it's gone. But what I was saying is, oh yeah, because this came from the interview that I was watching early. It's a old interview from Muhammad Ali, and it has nothing to do with the topic, but it made me divert eventually, swirling like my head always does, to this specific topic. And the question he got asked was, what was the hardest part of training? Was it running? Was it etc.? And he said the hardest part was to stay away from drugs, partying, and stuff like that. And it just made me think, you are glorified by the world, and you're saying the hardest thing for you to do is to not do that. Like, if it's hard for you, props to you for not doing it. But what is why that feeling, that feels hard to do, to just make the right that making the right decision is hard to do. and that made me divert to some thoughts that I've had for years now that I never spoken out loud. If there is one thing that I love in this world, it's horrible, nerve-wracking truth in a sick way, to the point that I prefer it over anything, to the point that it becomes delusional, because when there is even the smallest glimpse of optimism around me, it sickens me deeply. It makes me uncomfortable because it feels like lying. Like lying, I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly. If there is even the smallest glimpse of hope around me, it does feel like lying, and it sickens me deeply. It makes me really uncomfortable. So this sick love for truth, no matter what, it actually, I think this is the reason why I, just like many depressed people, overthink everything. And when I say everything, I mean to say that from the very moment that I wake up in the morning, I overthink every single step that I take. I overthink every breath I take. And I realize then that it's because I have this sickening weird love for truth. When I say this, I know a lot of people watching will say that I'm making shit up, because nobody it's perfect, in a way that, of course, you have lied before. And to be completely honest with you, I don't think I have. I don't think I have ever lied. I know vast majority of people watching this, if anybody ever gets to watch this, because I don't know if I'm gonna upload this or if I'm gonna just keep it there, would not believe that. And I don't blame you. It's hard to believe. Me saying this could be a lie. And I don't really know how to phrase it so someone could believe me. If I swear to God, would you believe me? Would you think that's a lie as well? So instead, if you're watching this, let's just go with me and pretend. Okay? Let's pretend. Pretend for a minute that I have in fact never lied in my life. Maybe as a kid, maybe as a small kid, doing whatever. Not that I can remember. I have never lied. Remember, you are pretending to believe me. Go with it, please. And the thought of lying, even in the slightest, makes me feel sick. I remember being a kid, and my mom got a call. She would get a call from my aunt, her sister. Maybe that was my shoe. By the way, I didn't. Yeah. Maybe, but to get together or to plan things with the whole family. My house has never liked big group activities, so she would say things like, "No, I actually have double shift that day," which was a lie. That sort of thing has always, it's a small, meaningless lie. I am able to understand that. It doesn't matter, right? Somehow, deep inside here, it does. It does, to the point that it sickens me deeply and it makes me really uncomfortable. And I think that's one of the many reasons that I am not a functional human. And it just made me think a lot about why do I hate the world, humans, even they probably don't deserve it. I don't live in a war zone taking place. My parents were always great. I never lived trauma. Well, that's maybe debatable. Living the adult life, I have gone through things, but I didn't. I've never witnessed death upon homicide. I have never witnessed gruesome things like in places in the Middle East that are swarming with bullets. But there is something wrong with my brain. And honestly, when you think like that, when you think like me, and you cannot go out of your house without seeing people, and the only thing I see without even knowing people, without even knowing them, it's a bunch of evil thoughts and acts and people, and I see someone that could be completely normal. I even see teenagers even. I see them and I remember when I was a teenager, and I just think these monsters. I just think these are not like, are these humans? They are monsters, but that's what humans are, right? Like I begin to merge it together to the point that human to me means complete monstrosity, and I am incapable of coping with that. I am incapable of living like that. It is quite. You could say that I'm dramatizing everything or exaggerating, but it's agonizing to live like this. It is unbearable. I from the moment I wake up in the morning, the whole day, until I cry myself to sleep. Why do I cry myself to sleep? At this point, I don't know. It's a different reason every night. Unable to switch my brain off. I installed Instagram for the first time in 2019. With time, I was unable to stop scrolling, and that, I believe, it makes it worse. I have been able to stop scrolling. I don't do it anymore. I don't uninstall it because that's the only way I talk to people. You know, maybe if you're from the States or somewhere else, I know you still use the phone text. That's not a thing here. Yeah, I don't do it anymore. It worsens the case a lot. It makes you overthink a lot more. I haven't laid this up. I really need it. This is one of the things. This is one of the best things of the day, by the way, which is terrible because I don't like smoking. I think any honest smoker will tell you they don't like smoking, unless, I don't know, unless they're 60. People don't really care. Personally, I hate it. I'm addicted and I cannot go a day without it. What was I talking about? Yeah, I am unable to. And listen, these last few years I've gone through one relationship, romantic relationship, in a few situationships. And when that happens, when you begin to get to know people deeply that are not your friends, and maybe my case is a bit special because I've had the same group of friends since kindergarten. So I know them entirely. And yeah, when you get to meet people romantically, you're meeting new people, and with time you get to know more of them from the inside. You begin to see the world as it is, and it confirms all your overthinking. It confirms all the bad stuff that um, that you were thinking before it comes to life. Before continuing any longer, I need to remind you that this is my explanation through my brain that is depressed, chronically suicidal, and maybe a few other things that they haven't told me yet. So I actually would want to tell you that this is fact, facts of life, because to me they are. But I'm sick, and I kind of hold on to that a little bit, to saying, um, I am sick. I am a sick person. I have mental problems. So these things must not be entirely truth. You see how I don't finalize it either? I'm not saying they are not true. I'm saying they are not mostly truth, because I think that's the only way I have lived this long. That little coping that I did, hanging into my mental illness to make me believe that maybe all of these things are not true. And even then, it is still impossible for me to believe. And I hope that summarized how my mind works. I need you to remind, being selfish again, talking about myself all over again. I need to remind you, just so you can try and understand, that this started when I was around 15 or 16, and ever since, this is daily. Not one day has gone by when it isn't like this. That's been 10 years already. So, suicidal thoughts. I don't always have suicidal thoughts in the sense of thinking of killing myself or visualizing how it would look like. It's not often that I have those. However, it is daily, and it's been ever since that I think of me not being, not existing, not necessarily, it's not necessarily about taking my own life, but just a wish that it would just, sorry about that. I saw a notification and I tried to pinch it, but I dropped the phone. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, it's a thought of just that everything stops. My neighbor has fighting cocks, chickens. It's illegal. Anyway, yeah, even though it's not often that I have suicidal thoughts, I daily have, and have ever since, thoughts of everything stopping. And only a couple of years after that began, it's when it stopped being sad and dramatic, because every time it would happen, I would just feel really anxious and really tired and those moments would lead me into having suicidal thoughts about how would I do it, how could I do it, how could I do it without nobody noticing, etc. And with time, that stopped because it stopped being dramatic or sad, because it began to evoke the feeling of relief, the feeling of rest. And I can say, without stuttering, well, I stutter because my English is bad, but without overthinking, I can safely say, and very convinced to a point that it scares me, that the one thing I long in this world, in this life, it's to die, is to stop existing. It is agonizing to me as we speak, as it is every day. It's agonizing to me that I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I don't want another tomorrow. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, as I told you. All that dramatic feeling faded completely years ago. I don't feel those things anymore. I'm just tired. Like, I'm really exhausted. How old do you think I am? You know? I'm 25. Soon to be 26. And yeah, like, this video is finished. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm probably gonna scroll. I don't want to. I'm probably gonna check my chat. I'm gonna see nothing, because nobody, that's also one of those selfish feelings I was talking about being depressed and making you feel selfish, because I'm always checking, I'm always wondering if someone's talking to me, someone's thinking of me, if my friends want to hang out, and they never do. um I think I also suffer from that case of floater friend. I am sort of the floater friend, and I know everyone, but nobody considers me part of the nucleus of a group. I'm not the first thought in anybody, and that it makes me feel sad and unlikable and unlovable. But it also frustrates me because it reminds me that I'm being selfish and I'm thinking only about myself. And I don't know what to do in that situation, because it's like, man, I wish like just somebody would check on me, just remember me, like, I really like you as a friend. I don't think I've been a bad friend. Never. Not really. I can't even make jokes that border the line on offensive, because I worry too much about hurting someone, because I have been hurt by jokes that are only jokes. In someone's eyes, they could have been a very light joke, but maybe what was said hurt me within, and I never showed it because I know it's just jokes. But because of that, I can't even do that. I don't think I've ever bothered anybody that way, or at least I've really tried to. I don't think I've been a bad friend. Sometimes I just wish someone would like me enough, um, to be that sort of reliable, um, but reliable. He can't miss this type of guy. And then I remember that I'm being selfish, and it makes me feel frustrated, because it makes me realize that I'm again thinking only about myself, in a way. thinking about people, but I'm thinking about how it affects me. And it's hideous living like this every day. It's been 30 minutes officially since I began recording, and to me it felt like 20 seconds. Why am I mentioning this? Keep in mind, this is every minute of every day. It doesn't matter if I'm working. I work. I go to the gym. I go to boxing. I have video games. I have hobbies. It does not matter how many things I do. This is every minute of every day. And it has been ever since 10 years ago. And it's sickening and it's tiring. And again, I'm frustrated because as I say this, I remind myself that I'm talking very selfishly, very self-centered, and I just don't know what to do. Like, I do want to kill myself, and I'm not saying that with a smile to appear eerie or edgy. I'm not smiling. I'm just trying to process that sort of thought when I say it out loud. I've said it out loud a couple of times to good confidence that wouldn't treat me like a mental case. Maybe I am, I don't know. I do want to kill myself, and as you can see when I say this, there is no sadness, there is no dramatic crying. I think I cried it a lot years ago, but when I say it, when I think about it, it almost makes me it almost makes me that want you to feel good or even happy, or in a way that you would try to understand me, because that's how it's working in my head, that the idea of killing myself, the idea of mustering the courage to actually do it, would make me happy. And I know that sounds really sick, because it is. I have mental problems, right? But I'm gonna try to explain, because I really don't think people get to understand the way I feel about this. It's like, you know, we all have bad things in life. Life is a bunch of bad things and a couple of good ones sprinkled on it. Maybe your day is always fucked up, but then you go home, maybe, to your beloved ones, and that suddenly is like enough. Okay, that feeling. Let me paint it this way. I seen this reel on Instagram before. It's a guy that works a lot. He wrecks himself working, and he goes home. He's recording, and he's like crying. Like, I've worked 60 hours a week, and it's really fucking stressful. And then he turns the camera, and it's his daughter running up to receive him. And that makes it worth it, and that gives him that feeling of life is good. Okay, I want you to picture that feeling of something good in the middle of a storm of badness. I want you to take that feeling of good, place it in the action of me killing myself. That's how it feels for me. It feels like everything is fucked. It feels like I cannot breathe. And the thought of finally doing it is what gives me that warm feeling. It sounds very sickening, but it's the only thought. It's the only thought that brings me something that could be maybe close to joy, because I really want to do it, and I really want it all to be over. And thinking it could be over makes me feel good, makes me feel more relaxed, makes me feel a little more at ease, because I am stressed and anxious every second of the day, and I am unable to see people. When I say that, I mean humanizing them or seeing them as people. When I go out of the house and I see people, the only thing I see is like monsters, and I'm one of them, and I don't want to. So I really, really want to do it. Like, try to think, what do you want? What do you want to do with your life? Right now, you could be working towards a goal. If you are, really proud of you. Please keep it going. Please don't be like me. I realized this could have a lot of impact on people, even adult people. I wouldn't upload this for minors to see. I hope it doesn't, though. I was just trying to have an attempt of being understood. Try to think about that. You having a goal, you're working towards something, you're maybe in college, you're maybe in a job in which you are pointing towards a higher direction. Maybe you're building a family. The only thing I could see myself aiming forward is taking my own life. But I don't want you to see it like this. I want you to take that feeling, the feeling you get when you think about your goal, when you think about the work you put in, when you think about all the things you do daily to ensure that that day in the future you get there. Take that feeling, don't take the actions, or don't take my action of taking my life. Forget about that, take that feeling. That is the feeling that taking my life gives me. Like if it's like as if it was the only good thing in the world. As if the only good thing in the world right now was it's to take my own life. And I really have never known how to navigate this. Yes, I have gone to the psychologist. Don't know, I don't think that works. I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think they ever helped anybody. It's all momentary. Like they could change your routines and your actions and the way you move yourself through the motions, because life really, at least to me, it's moving through the motions and nothing else. I don't I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, because I don't think there is a tunnel for me. I fucked up many paths that I've taken in my life. Every path that I've taken to be something, to become something, all the hard work, all the effort put into many paths, almost as if I would have lived a couple of lives, trying to chase a goal, trying to be at a certain job, trying to be at a certain profession, anything really. Um, it led to nothing. And I just hope that you carefully listen to every word, because I think, after years of thinking this way, I feel like today it's the only day that I have been able to try and explain how it actually feels. And even then, I think it's quite not so easily understood. I think I didn't do a good job at explaining it all. The right way is here, but it just won't come out. Keep in mind that it swirls in my head 24/7 for 10 years, so it's messy, really fucking messy. So yeah, I just hope that it's barely understandable. Um, it really doesn't have a meaning, doesn't really have a goal. This, I'm not. I don't want you watching this to save me. I have asked to be saved. I've had help, and right now I'm not. Like, if you want to, like, I won't stop you. I'm not defensive in that sense. A lot of people, when they're slapped and told the truth, they get defensive and hide away. I am not like that. I take it, whenever friends just try to kick some sense in me. I am never defensive. I always take what they say to heart and try. I do. I always have. And it's just never enough. It just never works. It just never changes me, because nobody can change you when you are like that. Nobody can help you. You have to do it yourself. Like, I was isolated and basically rotting, dying, until I willingly said I want help, and I went and got help. And for a couple of weeks it was pretty good, but then it just went back down. So I'm just saying that to let you know that I don't get defensive with this sort of thing. I'm not a child. I can take truth. We've talked about it before. I already told you how I love truth. So when I am slapped by a friend, when they try to kick some sense in me, I do listen and I do acknowledge. I do understand. I do acknowledge what they're saying is factual truth. They are saying factual truth while the things in my head are not true, and I am able to understand that, and to take it as a fact of life, that yes, this is truth, and what I am going through is not actually truth. It's because I'm fucked up. Even then, when I know it's impossible for me to apply, even though I try, I can't apply it. Something stops me. It's like it's like a code. As if, let's say, I was a computer, and something funny about killing yourself. Your flesh, your nervous system, I don't know what it is, but it has a safety um, protocol that tries to make you avoid taking action. I tried to kill myself once. Actually, back here, I hanged myself. I went unconscious, and the next day I woke up on this floor with a hit on the back of my head. Now, getting to that point of actually trying took a lot of time, a lot of thinking, a lot of strengthening the thought. I don't think I could try nowhere near, nowhere in the near future, nowhere in the visible future, because getting to that point is really really hard because you have that safety system in your body, in your mind, I don't know, that makes you avoid it. It fills you with fear, even if you're not afraid. I am not afraid of dying. You know, from watching this video, probably you realize that I crave death. I long to stop existing. I am not afraid, but it does it anyway. It fills your body with fear, with doubt. You know, it sends you into almost a shock, like a nervous shock. And yeah, it's possible to get to that point. I forgot what the initial threat was, but yeah, I think I've said enough. It's 46 minutes already. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this. I don't know if I'm gonna upload it. To be honest, I didn't initially think I needed someone else to listen to this or to watch this, but I did record it mainly with the main reason that I needed to say it out loud. And I was saying it out loud before recording. I was talking to myself out loud before recording, and I said, fuck it, you know, even if it just stays on my phone, I kind of need to let it out and to know it existed. To I needed to know that this moment existed. And maybe I should reassure you, if you're actually watching this on the internet, that I will not try to kill myself. I can't. It's almost biologically impossible that I try nowhere in the near future, even though I have an aching wish to do it. When it's actually there, as I said before, it's the only thing I want. It's like, it's all I want. Everything, it's all I want. I don't want anything anymore. Still, maybe that makes you worry, maybe not. But I won't do it. I won't try. I can't. If I get to the point, I would have said it, because when I tried back in 2022, I did said it to a couple of friends, and obviously they tried to. Well, they did what friends do, you know. So yeah, they didn't see it coming though. Nobody knew. Nobody knew because, well, I didn't die. I got a scar on the back of my head, but nobody knows that I actually tried and was almost successful. I don't really know if I was almost successful. Like, I fainted while I was hanging, and the next thing I knew was like almost midday of the next day, and I was laying here. But yeah, I hope that was somewhat understandable. That I could finally, that someone could finally understand how it feels. In my particular case, maybe it's not like that for every suicidal. This is very nerve-wracking a little bit, because the thing is, The moment I come out with this thing, you know, the moment I tell someone about it, I have two friends that are that I can tell them these things because they are my confidants. I know they won't ever tell anybody else unless I say so, right? Like they're not gonna gossip about it. The thing is, the moment I come out with this type of thing, the perception that people have on me, this person would be my friends, these friends I mentioned. The perception they have on me completely changes, and that worries me too. Like coming out with this sort of thing, with it just changes the perspective they have on me, and they would treat me different, and I don't know if I would like that. Maybe they would start seeing me as more delicate. Maybe they would start seeing me as unable to be a person. Maybe they would um, you know just just make me different, and I think I already am. Maybe I'm not, but that's how I feel, that's how I think, because of the selfish depression shit. I already are very different, very strange, very weird man, and coming out with this sort of thing, it's scary because it would put me further down in the perception of people around me. And like I'm getting emotional now. That's what happens sometimes. I'm not really emotional all the time, but around this time of night, it's when I get emotional because I think um, my body got used to it, because I can only sleep well when I cry myself to sleep. So usually around 3 a.m., sometimes way later, I start swirling different type of thoughts, more sad ones. Uh, you know, all that I've said today is sad, but it doesn't make me sad because I'm used to it. So I swirl around other type of thoughts that make me sad, and I cry myself to sleep because I think it's the only way that I can actually get some sleep. So um, I really have nothing more to say. I am a very strange man, and just as I was talking about how I love truth and how I see people as monsters, this year, it's the beginning of July right now. This year, ever since December or January, I have done things that myself from before that, from the last year, would have thought completely fucked up. Not because I did bad things. I actually didn't do bad things. Um, I didn't do anything bad. Just so you know, I didn't do anything bad. The thing is the way it makes me feel, the way those things make me feel. It makes me feel like I partook into what I hate about the world and humans, just because I thought you can't change the way they are, and not one of them will be what you thought they would be, what you thought people would be like when you were growing up. The world is not what you thought, what you were told it was going to be. So I kind of gave up the feeling, you know, if you were my friend, my male friend probably, you would know the things I've done, and you would be proud of me and you would high five me. And that's cool, but it's the way that these things, when I done it, when I went into this spree of actions, to me, even though it's things that most men my age would die to do, in the moment that I started, it felt like I was giving up, like I was finally giving up on the world and on life and on people. And it almost felt like every time I did it out of frustration, and it has a feeling that it has a weird feeling that feels like I was taking revenge just by sleeping with few girls, you know, fully consensual, fully consensual girls my age that they really enjoyed and had a good time. I would come back here to my house and I would feel so weird that I was finally just like the rest and doing things that my heart didn't feel comfortable with. I was fed fairy tales growing up. I had a vision of the way people were and the way things work in their minds. I was very innocent for most of my life, thinking everyone was good in the way that I was. Because, again, this could sound like a lie. This could sound like I'm exaggerating. Um, but I was until a very late age, until an age where it's no longer normal. I was a very pure soul, and being that at such an old age, it was around 15 or 16, and finally facing the world as it is. I think it was too late. I think I was too old to stumble upon such wall. And people grow, and I guess I didn't up until that point. And you know, I haven't done one bad thing in my life. It's all normal. It's all good. Like, and still I get a feeling of lost. That I lost myself. That I lost what I was taught, the way I grew up. I feel like I haven't been myself in years, and I'm making it sound deep because to me it is. It feels like the person who I was. It's like he died. He died, and what I am now, even though it's completely normal and healthy, you know, for everyone who would know about the life that I led, completely normal, completely healthy, completely never did anybody any harm, never did anything bad, and still I am like This is why I'm saying people grow, people change, people grow, and I didn't. And I think I was too old already at that age to hit that wall, and so I didn't. It wasn't like growth and change. It was like someone died, and the person that I am today, I don't I don't know him. I don't understand him either. And I lost all capability of fully liking people, and the, lost the ability to believe that one day I could trust people, no matter how much time, no matter how much experiences, I feel like I could never trust anybody. It makes me feel paranoid. This thing is an hour already. I'm gonna leave it here. I think it's been enough. Whatever I would say afterwards, it would probably repeat itself. It's always my way. My mind always serves, but it becomes a loop. All the time, it's always a loop. So whatever I'm gonna say after this, it's probably gonna circle back to something. I think it did happen in this video. Like I lost a point, a thread, and later on I went back at it. So yeah, I just wanted this moment to exist. The only reason I'm recording. So if you want to insult me in the comments, you want to tell me to man up and suck it up, if you want like anything, if you want to actually um, appear like a kind, listen here, you have problems, etc. Whatever you want to say, feel free to say it. As I said, I just wanted this moment to exist. My name is Fabian. I'm 25, soon to be 26. 40-year-old looking, gray hair, melted, fucked up face. I'm strong though. I'm pretty strong. I'm a good fighter as well. Well, I was decent. I was a decent fighter. I'm strong. I'm short, which somehow makes me stronger for some reason. I have a nicotine addiction. I like Dire Straits. My favorite song is Tunnel of Love. I like Hellboy comic books. My favorite video game of all time is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Don't really know what else to say. I like Arthurian Legends. Merlin and the Grail, it's my favorite. It's very, it merges biblical stuff with details and tries to set it into history as if it happened. It's pretty cool. I like tall girls. I don't know what else to say, man. I like heavier girls too. I don't know. Anyway, what time is it? It's 2:22. Almost time to cry myself to sleep. Hopefully, I'm not gonna do any scrolling. But maybe will a little bit. I bought a TV so I can, at least watch a movie instead of fucking scrolling. I don't know. Maybe I'll see you sometime again, and I have no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. Goodbye.